Jujitsu, when I hit you, then I split you.
Yo, yo.
What's going on, buddy?
What is going on, my man?
Nah, not too much. It is episode 6. Two Live Fools coming at you once again. Nice little late night recording after we've tended to our fatherly duties of the day.
This is very true.
I know you're telling me you got some bike riding done with the kiddos, hit the beach and all that. I think it's nice for a Wednesday.
Yeah. We had it was like activities day. We went to the beach this morning, then I went to work for a little bit, came home, we did bike ride. Gunner has one of them balance bikes, so dude, it's crazy. He literally the only way he could stop is his feet, so he drags his toes. Dude, he's been dragging his toes so much he ate right through the shoes and his toes were sticking out of it.
Nice.
Ate right through his sock too. I'm like, dude, you can't keep doing that. You're gonna rip your toenails off, man.
Yo, man, you gotta give him some Tims, man. That's it. You can't rip through those.
Dude, he would rip right through those Tims, man. That kid is like a kamikaze on that bike lately. I don't know what came over him. Dude, last year, he couldn't even, I'm going too fast, and he's shaking the thing, and he's literally walking we're like, come on, Gunner. And then this year, dude, he's like, oh, biggest hill in the world? Let's beeline down it.
Just bomb it.
Yep. So, and then Gav, my older one, he's on a pedal bike now, so he thinks he's a gangster, but he crashes into everything, so it's pretty good. But he tries to do whatever I do. Like, I stood up on the bike, I'll stand on the stee and the frame, and I'll kind of surf it, and then I'll put my legs on one side or whatever. And dude, as soon as I do one thing, 2 seconds later, you just hear boom, boom. I tried to do what you did, Dad. I'm like, well, don't do that, bro. So I'm like, I got more experience, man.
Yeah,
we work our way up to it.
Do as I say, not as I do, right?
That is the Italian way.
Yeah.
Anybody that's Italian that has a grandfather knows that's the way. Do as I say, not as I do.
Oh, man. That's awesome, though.
Yep. So how about you? How was your day?
It was good, man. It's kind of first day back from a nice long weekend, essentially. I got to enjoy the Memorial Day weekend a little bit, see some family. So, I mean, that's always a plus. So, yeah, I can't complain. Hung out with the kid a little bit, got some yard work done. So, that's kind of the north. It's kind of been the past 2-3 years for me. It's just small little family get together, 6 hours of yard work, and then maybe if I can get myself a beer or something at the end of the day, that's about it.
Yeah, dad life at 30. But everybody I know that gets a little bit older, and as their kids get older, they're like, don't worry, you get your life back. I swear you get your life back. And I'm like, well, I don't see anything in the fucking clearing anytime soon with Gav's gonna be 6 in a week. Gunner's going to be 5 in October, and the baby just turned 2. So I know we got some time, but it's funny because even when I used to go to the bar when I was younger, it'd be a bunch of 20-year-olds, and then it'd be a bunch of 50 and 60-year-olds, and you're like, oh, your kids are in high school or college. That's why you could go out again. Yep. And they're like, yep, you just got to wait till they get about that. And then they're like teenagers again at 50,
Life, there is no light at the end of the tunnel. That's all I'm thinking. But I thought it was crazy. I remember on my honeymoon, we met this couple at one of those speakeasies that they had in Lisbon, and we were just talking, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we go on travel every couple times a year," and I was like, "Oh, I'm guessing you guys don't have any kids?" Like, no, we got 3, and they're probably close to your kids, your boys' ages. And I was like, so I'm like, where are they? And my father's like, oh, well, one kid's he's in Iceland, the other kid's in Spain. And I'm like, so what, you just let them travel? I'm like, yeah, well, we have friends out there, so we just kind of throw them on the plane and they just head out there and that's it. And I was like, wow, dude.
Yeah, you know what though? The one thing I have noticed with that is especially I guess Europeans, they're a lot more. I don't know if it's just because Europe's small.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, okay, you live in France and then you go to Germany. You're like, oh, that's a different country. For us, it's like, oh, we went to Pennsylvania for the day.
Yeah, yeah, everything's close. So
Yeah, you know what I'm
it's
saying?
essentially me. I'm thinking like, oh, you threw your kid on like a 10-hour flight, but in actuality, it was like a 2-hour flight. So you know,
Yeah, it's a 2 hour flight or like, an hour train ride,
yeah, yeah, yeah. So
or whatever, a 3 hour train ride. So, but yeah,
yeah,
I mean, I think they're just used to traveling a little bit different. And, yeah, I don't know. Maybe they're just not as scared of the world as Americans are sometimes.
could
I
be
don't know
that too.
how. Listen,
Yeah,
I don't know how, but we've been always supposed to be the craziest, toughest sons of bees, and it just seems like it's regressed a little bit.
yeah, it's true. But I don't know. We're getting back there, man. Slowly but surely. I'm hopeful. Despite all the bullshit that's been going on, these past couple of months, I'm like, I know we'll get back to it eventually. And you're kind of starting to see it now too. People are kind of fed up and you know trying to get back to it as quickly as possible, but in the same time trying to be safe. But trying to get back to the way things were.
Yeah, I mean, we got no choice. I mean, unless you want to live like this, and we got no choice but to, keep on keeping on,
Yeah,
keeping up the good fight.
yeah, it's true. I think so.
So what do we got on the agenda for today, there, Mister Drew?
I mean, I was reading through the agenda, but at the same time, I'm kind of doing that and kind of icing my back and shoulders from what was it? Was it Saturday when we rolled? Like,
Yep.
oh man, like that. I think it's crazy. Like you and I, like I wouldn't say like our training's kind of like sporadic. It's like it's whenever we get into kind of shoot content, and then you and I will kind of do like like 5 or 6 rounds, and then we decided to like up it and like today we'll do like 7 rounds, and then of course you and I see each other the next day, and I'm like yeah, my back, my shoulder, my knees, everything hurts, and it's like
Yeah.
how much content do you want to shoot today? It's like I want to shoot 5 quick videos, and then that's it because I can't feel anything.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Well, you know what? It was funny because like we're like, yeah, 5 rounds. Like, you want to do another? Hell yeah, we
Yeah,
want to do another. Then we get done with that one. We're like, want to do another? You're like, yeah, we want to do another. Walk in on Saturday, and it's like two crippled old men.
yeah.
Uh,
It's
hey, but we did another 5 rounds on Saturday, so that's all that
yeah,
matters.
yeah, it's true. So it's and that actually makes me happy because you and I were kind of talking about like getting like how we're gonna get back into it, like what's gonna happen. It's like I can like I said, we've gone from going from essentially
Basically,
training almost
two a days.
yeah, like 2 a days and training every day to training like once maybe twice a week. So I mean that to me that's success if we're able to get into kind of do it like a back to back essentially. Like that kind of makes me feel like okay, makes me feel like it was like 3 months ago.
Yeah, well, I mean, like this is what I voiced my concern to you is like, all right, everybody's going to come back in. Some guys are going to be in shape. Some guys and gals are going to be out of shape. But like, my biggest concern is like people getting injured.
Oh yeah,
Like,
mine
okay,
too.
we're getting back into it, and they're all excited, and it's like, okay, well, you haven't done this in 3 months, and now all of a sudden, like, we're used to the regular aches and pains and like your bang ups of like training all the time, and now you come in and you're like fresh, you feel strong because nobody's been yanking on your shit for 3 months, and then it's
Yeah,
like, oh yeah, I'm not as flexible. Pop.
yeah, yeah,
So I think it's just being smart, and me as an instructor, I just got to really control the environment.
oh
I think
definitely.
it's just it's just one of those things where it's like, okay, like I said to you, like we're used to like the Friday grind of like 10 whatever 10 to 15 5-minute rounds, or we're doing 10 10s or whatever it is. We're doing an hour straight of just round. I think like we're really gonna have to be like, okay, guys, we're gonna warm up for the first, 30 minutes, and then we're gonna do 5 5-minute rounds, and then just
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
kind of cap it, be intelligently training. And I think that's the best way for us to go about it. I know for me and you, we talk about it all the time, is like, dude, like, especially now that I'm a little bit older, like I need a half hour of like fucking around and sweating and everything else before like I can really get into it. If I just hop in like one round and go, I'm dead.
Yeah, and I find like too, it's like for me when I warm up, it's not like a little bit of sweat that I need. I need to be like completely drenched and like in order to feel like I'm actually warmed up and actually have like good like productive rounds.
Well,
for the
yeah,
rest
I
of the
mean, it's
training
even
session.
like I say it all the time to you. I'm like, I need to get that out of my
Yeah,
lungs.
that kind of
Like, you
yeah,
need to get like that deep breath where it's like, okay, now my lungs are burning, but they shouldn't be burning, and now all of a sudden, like, now my lungs are just hammering away. My muscles are warm. I'm not like cramping or anything, and then I can roll for hours. But if I don't get that good warm up in, man, bro, I get my ass kicked.
yeah,
you know?
and yeah, and I've seen I've had like a couple people ask me like, oh, I'm gonna get back into it, and like, like what are the best ways, and like thinking back to it, like, obviously it's when we're training frequently, it's nice to take time off. Is it nice to take 3 months off? Probably not really. I wouldn't say so. But when folks are asking me like, well, what are some tactics or how should I kind of approach it? And I say like, well, before really like you're really getting back into it, one thing you should really be focusing on, and one thing I've been trying to focus on, it's not so much like drilling arm locks and drilling like triangles, but really focus on like your mobility, and also too like focus on like your flexibility as well, because
Yeah.
that'll really help you when you get back into it, because most hardcore practitioners like you or myself, when it's like go time, when we're good to get back in, it's not going to be like, oh, okay, well, I'm just going to do one a week just to make sure I'm okay. Like, I'm fully ready to go, like 3 4 days a week, and just go, like, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I agree 100%, and I think that's just going to be the instructor's job to take the pulse of the class, see where
Yeah,
everybody's at, because once you get back in, it's like, and that's the other thing. Like, even if we're getting back into it, like we might not be able to train together, so we might have to do. It might be actually a benefit to do almost like the live Zoom class, but together. So this
yeah,
way, you're getting the mobility, you're getting the flexibility, you're not getting the extra torque on your joints right away. So then, even if you have like a month transition of like, okay, let me do 2 3 days a week for your average practitioner, like 2 3 days a week, you're just getting your cardio back up. You're getting used to doing
yeah,
forward rolls again. You're getting used to doing sprawls. You're getting used to doing stuff, and you don't have somebody else's weight on you.
yeah.
Where like you're supporting their weight and you're supporting the extra 50 pounds you put on, you fat fuck, during quarantine.
Yeah,
you know.
I feel like the quickest folks can kind of get back to like their original training schedule, but also being mindful of like know your limitations, knowing what your body's telling you. If something feels tight, like your knee feels a little bit tighter than usual, don't go for that inversion and try to attack someone's leg or something. It's like just be mindful as you're getting back into it. The more mindful you are,
Yeah.
the quicker you'll be able to get back into your usual, whether you're doing 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, two a days, lifting in the morning, jiu-jitsu at night, just being properly mindful of what your body's telling you as you look to ramp up as quickly as possible, because I know everyone's ready to go. I mean, I know some people are kind of training on the side or training in their basements or whatnot, but at the end of the day, people are looking to really get back into their academies to get ready for competitions or anything else that may be coming up in the future.
Yeah, well, you know what? That is spectacular advice, Drew. But you know what David Goggins would say? You're a
Yeah,
pussy.
yeah, he would say that.
You ain't hard, bro.
But you know what? I
So
I don't want that smoke, so I'm not gonna say he's wrong. So
I'm agreeing with you. I'm
yeah,
agreeing with you. But no, no, no. I mean, I'm busting balls. Obviously, all jokes aside. But I mean, especially for our age demographic,
hmm,
we gotta do things a little bit differently. I mean,
yeah,
especially if you haven't been active, like me and you. Even though we haven't been training, we've been starting to get back into the live training. But we have been active, whether me, I'm like humping block and ripping on my
oh my
yard, and
gosh, yep,
I'm walking at least a mile to 2 3 miles a day with the kids, and we're on the bikes, and we're doing that stuff. So I mean, like, I've been staying active. I'm just not getting the cardio activity that I'm used to getting. I'm getting the muscular activity, maybe even more by doing the lifting of moving lumber and doing that stuff, but
yeah,
splitting wood. So I'm getting that, but I'm just not getting that cardio push, like where when me and you are rolling, we're like
yeah,
which is I mean, obviously instrumental in training for us as jiu-jitsu practitioners. For weightlifters, it doesn't matter, I guess. Like, it's
yeah, yeah.
as long as they get their reps in their stuff, they feel like they're good. But like for us, like, we know that we need to be the total package. We need to be strong,
Oh yeah.
we need to be flexible, we need to have cardio you know Because
Yeah,
when you have all those things, you're not just, you can actually be really, present in your role because you're not worried about gas and you're not worried about
yeah.
fatigue. You're not worried about this. You're worried about your next move, your next plan, your 3 moves ahead, whatever it is.
Yeah, and I think, looking at, like, being active, I mean, obviously, it's starting to get warmer out, and people kind of
Hmm.
get hung up on the fact of, like, okay, well, I'm not rolling, or I don't have weights at home and I don't have all that stuff, so I'm like, oh, like, what do I really do? And I think people get, they kind of get hyper focused on what actually activity is. I mean, in actuality, like, if you have a house, or even if you're just outside, there's plenty of things you can do out and about. Like, just to give you an example, like Sunday, I was like, okay, I'm gonna take off and relax, and you know my father-in-law at his house got a shed delivered, but before the shed
Hmm.
can get delivered, we have to build the foundation. And
Yep.
one of the things you have to do to build a foundation is you kind of set up like the wood frame, but then also you
Hmm.
have to lay down like a kind of like a layer of gravel. So we had a
Hmm.
truckload of gravel,
Yep.
kind of dumped at his house. And also, man, for like 3 hours, I was shoveling gravel, throwing it in a wheelbarrow, and carrying it to the back of his property.
Yo,
Like it,
Francis Ngannou, bro. He shoveled sand and look at the size of that motherfucker.
Yeah. So I think that's, and even like on Monday, like I went out, like mowed my lawn. Then after that, like raked some leaves that I found. Then after that, cleaned out my shed. So it's, don't always get hung up on the fact that when you think of being active, I would say is like as lifting weights, or like roping for 2 hours, or running 3 miles, or things like that. There's so much shit you can do that hits like those functional muscles that you
Yeah.
use for jujitsu, like, shoveling, like you like hucking lumber and everything like that. Like
Yeah.
tell me, like, were you sore the next day after doing all that?
No, because I'm a fucking man of steel, bro.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm
No,
gonna say
no, are
after
you
I
kidding
shoveled
me, bro?
gravel, like I was shot. I was shot.
No, it does. It kicks your ass, you know?
Oh
Well,
yeah.
that's like, dude, like I got a lot of guys that do manual labor for a living. And I mean, that's always the biggest fight, especially like even like landscapers and stuff like that. It's like, especially in the summer, they're working all day doing that manual labor. And that's like, bro, I got to come in and wrestle for an hour. So,
Yeah.
I always have a lot of, what's the word I have for that? A lot of, um, admiration for the guys that do the manual labor,
Oh
like
yeah.
masons and all that shit, and they still, rinse it off, dust it off, and then come in and train for an hour. Because, like,
Yes.
listen, I've worked for a plumber, being a plumber's helper. I've worked for,
So have I. Yep.
I've been doing some construction, on the side during this. So it's a long day being in the holes on your knees, digging, humping block, humping lumber, cutting stuff, carrying wood, doing this. Like, you're basically lifting for 10 hours, you
Absolutely.
know? So, for them to do that and then dust it off and call it a day and then come out and roll, man, like, I have a lot of respect for that because it's a hard day's work, hard day's labor. And then, when we get into class, man, it's not like I'm going to take it easy on you because you put in a 10-hour day.
Yeah.
So, like, because, you put a 10-hour day doing manual labor, you put in a 10-hour day doing the computer, I put in a 10-hour day of wrestling human beings. So,
Yeah.
we all have our trifes and tribulations, I guess. But hey, we love what we do, and that's why we do it. We get together, and it puts us all in. Man, that's the one thing that like I always bring back to jujitsu or martial arts in general. Is like we have a very unique perspective on life because we have so many different characters, walks of life, social pyramid of people from, college kids to doctors and vice versa. And, convicts to whatever. And, we got black, white, purple, yellow. Like I always said, like, when we train at Henzo's, it's like walking into the United Nations.
Oh
You
yeah.
can walk onto that mat. There's hundreds of people from all over the world, and they're speaking 10 different languages, and a group of guys are speaking Russian. Group, you got all the Brazilians yelling at each other. You got English going on. You got French. Like it's just you get such a unique perspective because you get all different walks of life, all different social status, everything. And
Yes.
I think that's why a lot of jiu-jitsu guys, they're just real motherfuckers, most of them. I mean, you got your fanboys and weirdos out there, but for the true, guys that really understand life and or girls that really understand life and even a little bit older, that have been
Yeah.
training for a while, man, they have some of the, cleanest, queerest perspective and honest perspective and just don't have time for bullshit. So you get a straight answer.
Yeah, and that was always like my favorite thing, especially when I was living in the city and training at Henzo's. Like you say, you'd walk into that big room and you'd have all these different people from different walks of life, different socioeconomic statuses and whatnot. But
Yeah,
as
that's the
soon as
word
that
I was looking for, you smart son of a bitch.
that's the word of the day. You got to use it in a sentence once. So
I don't even know if I can say it. It's like Dr. Seuss and be like social economic standards. I can't even do it, dude.
but I was like I was saying like it's as soon as that like buzzer rang, dude, it didn't even matter. Everyone
It
was
don't. Yeah.
immediately equal, no matter
Yes.
what. Whether you were a white belt, purple belt, black belt, as soon as that bell rang, everyone was equal. Everyone was
Yeah.
on the same playing field, and like
Whether
that was
whether
the
you
joy
had
about it.
$100 billion in your account or you had negative 36 cents in your account, at that moment in time, that negative 36 cents motherfucker could be God.
Yeah,
Like it's like one
yeah.
of those things. And the billionaires going, "I wish I could be him. I wish I could
Hmm.
be him." And it's just such a raw, emotion and experience. I think that's why we get drawn to it so much.
Yeah, and I think also too like the friendships that you kind of forge because you kind of see like I mean I think this is something that you've always kind of like told me as well. But you when you actually like fight with somebody like you sport, you actually see that real person. You see who they really are. Like you can't really hide behind like jujitsu when you're training. Like
No,
that
we
real
say it
person
all.
you're seeing there.
Yeah. Yeah, no, we say it
So
all the time, dude. Like the math
yeah.
doesn't lie.
Yeah, and there's people like I've met in the city. There's people I've met like me. I trained when I was on my honeymoon and stuff too. Like there's people I've met all over the world like through jujitsu that I still talk to on a pretty frequent basis. And like I'm like where else do you really get that when you think of it?
You don't, it's a very unique connection that you get. Like I said, I've traveled and I've met so many people doing martial arts all my life that even 20 years later I won't see them, and then all of a sudden I'll be walking through the airport or something, they'll be like Coach or G or whatever, and it's like holy shit. Like my family says all the time, they're like, dude, you know everybody everywhere, and they're like, how do you know? I'm like,
Yeah,
I train with that guy, back in the 80s. I train with this guy over in the 90s over there. I train with this guy
yeah,
over in there. So, I mean, it's one of those things that, once you spill blood, sweat, and tears with another human being, you have that different connection.
yeah. And it's like it's unique, man. Like I said, and even like when you're even not at the gym, like sometimes when I'm out and about, I'm wearing like a Hendo t-shirt, I'm wearing like a Roll Junkie t-shirt or something. There's always somebody, a random person that'll stop me and be like, "Oh man, like you train?" I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Oh, where do you train?" I'm like, "Oh, I train here." And they're like, "Oh yeah, I train there." And like there's always there's like that instant connection, like
Oh, yeah. And then you end up knowing each other because, even though it's a giant community, it's a really small community. So you're like, oh, I've
yeah,
trained with that guy, or, he used to live by me. He used to train at our school or
hmm,
whatever. So you end up, everybody kind of knows everybody. So
yeah,
jujitsu is like the Mayberry of martial arts.
yeah,
you know.
yeah. So yeah, it's something that is continually like you know brought me back to the art on a daily basis. Like and like I said, like for the different folks you see and I see, who put in that 10-hour day. I mean, there's days, man, honestly, where I'm just watching the clock. I'm just watching the clock so I can get out of there and go train. And I'm pretty sure there's plenty of people who do the same. Like they're having whatever day they're having at work, and they're just like, all right, is it 6 o'clock yet? Is it 6 o'clock yet? Can I get out here and go train and go hang out with my bros and try and kill each other? And it's you see it with most folks. They're just like, you know what, I just couldn't wait to just get here. And then it varies. Some days you're looking for a chill session, and other days you're going in there and you're just hoping someone tries to take your head off. So
Yeah, well, I mean, this is one thing I say all the time. I've never had somebody come into my academy after a training session and go, man, I'm really glad I didn't show up today.
yeah,
no matter what, no matter what day you're having, there's days me too, and I do it for a living. Like I gotta drag myself to go train, but I've never heard anybody go, "Oh shit, I shouldn't have done it." They're like, "Oh man, I'm so glad I dragged myself in here. I was so tired, I was so angry, I was so this, I was so that, and now it just all left. I got that. I really needed that, man. I really
Yeah,
needed that. I've never met anybody who was disappointed that they came and trained that day. The
you
only
you'll
time
never regret it.
yeah, no. And the only time I've ever had that happen was like if I got injured. But those are few
Yeah,
and far between. But for the most part, like it's just that mental and physical, like a little bit
yeah,
of the weight of the world lifted off your shoulders for just
yeah,
even an hour, because it's all going to be waiting for you when you come out. But you can
yeah,
attack it with a clearer head instead of having that weight where it's like, I don't know what to do next. Like you got that feeling in the back of your head, you're clenching your teeth all day because you're like, oh, whatever it is, the guy at work or your boss, or shit, I got to pay those bills, or the fucking furnace broke, whatever it is, man.
yeah,
Like we all go through it. And it's just like, the law of threes too. It's like, oh, the furnace broke, the car broke, and then I broke my foot. Great.
yeah,
It's just like, oh, okay, great.
yeah.
But go
I
ahead.
think you and I were kind of like talking about like and I think we talk about every time we train, we talk about the idea of like just presence, like because
Oh yeah.
jujitsu, no matter how much stuff you got going on, it brings you back to that idea of you have to be present. Now you understand those items, those kind of outliers, and those other outside elements exist, like your bills, your mortgage, like making sure your kids are fed and this and that, and family trouble issues or whatnot. But I feel like even after like a good role, especially like you understand those things are there, but I think your perspectives completely change. You understand that those things like don't define you as a person or don't define your life. You understand they're there, they exist, they don't define your life, and now you have the proper perspective to kind of solve those problems and deal with those items on your day to day life that you feel might be plaguing you. So.
Yeah, I mean, it just allows you to get that clearer head to attack the problem with a clear head instead of being, a pissed off jerk off.
Yeah, yeah. Which I'm sure everyone's kind of feeling that now. But I
Oh,
mean,
bro. I mean, we're all feeling that crunch. Like, I mean, I can say it honestly, like myself, like I'm a pretty positive person. I put
yeah,
up, that stuff. Like we say all the time, we're positive, but we're realists, right? But like,
yeah,
it's just getting to the point with me too. Like even like last week, like I was just fucking aggravated because I'm frustrated. Like,
yeah,
like I said, like, if my school burnt down, at least I know what to do. Fucking rebuild, go to the Home Depot, get some fucking studs, get some
hmm,
paint, fucking buy some mats, whatever I got to do. Fucking, sell a car to get this, to do that, whatever it is, at least you have a direction and you can put your fucking head to the grind, like your nose right down to the grindstone, and go and
yeah,
go. But right now it's like, oh, my hands are tied and my balls are cut off. Like
yeah,
there's no direction. There's no hope. There's no like rebuild. There's no like this. It's just like, oh yeah, we're gonna hike the tolls too while nobody's looking. Like what
yeah,
the fuck, bro? You really think that we need to hike the tolls right now? Like,
yeah,
oh, we need a 37% increase with fucking a million people out of 9 million unemployed right now. Like what the fuck? I don't get it. I don't get it. It doesn't make a lick of sense to me, Drew. Like
yeah,
it does not make a lick of sense to me. But like that's the thing. Like I said, if my school burnt down, at least I can go and drive, and nobody's telling me what to do, and I can just go and get my shit done. You know?
yeah. One of my coworkers brought it up the other day about like the toll hikes and everything kind of being raised, and then he's kind of like a stoner. He's like honestly, man, it's like why don't they just legalize weed? Wouldn't that just help? Wouldn't that just bring us some fucking money already? If they just legalized it already? All these issues like unemployment. He's like, I'm sure plenty of people right now that could use like an ounce right now, be perfectly happy. But instead, he's like, we're just hiking tolls, hiking taxes, everything. He's like, guarantee. He's like, watch. He's like, they legalize it. He's like, that'll help solve some of these money issues. But
Well,
and I couldn't disagree with him either. I was like, you know
no,
what?
well, listen, they've been talking about doing that in New Jersey for some time. I mean, it's legal medicinally in New Jersey. They've been talking about recreationally making it legal, and I mean, listen, more power to you, whatever. But
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, like this is one thing that they've been trying to pass before all this happened. So I don't know if they're going to just try to pass it and be like, "Oh, look what we did. We actually did something." But you're like, "Oh yeah, but nobody has work. Nobody works, so nobody can afford the weed that you just passed. Thanks, great." Like,
Yeah.
come on, man.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
mean, listen, I think it's a I know we're both pro, like
Yeah.
if you can do it and you can, like, and everything's good and it has its, like we do see, we take CBD stuff all the time, which has great,
Uh-huh.
great healing properties. Like I sell CBD stuff at my school because it works and I've been taking it
It
and,
does.
I got the rubs and the sticks and the lotions and this and that because it does work. It's a great anti-inflammatory if it didn't work, I wouldn't fucking take it. Simple as that,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. No, I hear you.
Especially training in the industry that we have. I mean, you try everything for, muscle relief or pain or, like I got a thorough gun, I got a roller, I got this because if you're hard
Mm-hmm.
on your body, man, you need the maintenance. It's like, riding your car all the time and never changing the tires, brakes or the oil. Like you need to do that maintenance. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's, it would be great if they did, but the biggest thing is getting everybody back to a level playing field and being able to provide for their families, So
Yeah, and honestly, kind of moving like towards that. I was, I kind of get like those. You probably seen too the New Jersey like patch emails or
oh
whatnot.
Christ, yeah.
Yeah, which is like I feel like those are just essentially clickbait at this moment because I've never clicked in, I've never like opened that email and found anything useful. I mean, I did see that Jersey is starting to move towards phase 2.
What the fuck is phase
Was there
two,
any type?
Drew? What is phase two? Can you
Yeah, so
enlighten me, Drew? Enlighten me what the fuck
yeah,
Murphy's
so
phase two is.
it's phase 2. I know it's like limited, like personal care. Like what else is in there? I know he put it in like his timeline. It's kind of vague, and I get the concept of not giving exact dates just in case, God forbid, something happens, and then he has to kind of go back on it. But I know it was like limited personal care. What else fell under this list?
Yeah, well, what's the thing? I mean, but no, that's bullshit. Stop being fucking politically correct over there, Drew. I get why he's not having dates. He's not giving anybody dates because he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing, bro. He has no
Yeah.
clue. Like you keep saying the data, but you won't give us the data that you're looking at. You keep saying, "Oh
Oh,
yeah, a few weeks."
you
Like a
can.
few weeks. What's few? Like I know, like a few
Yeah.
beers is like 10. So is it 10 weeks?
Yeah, and I'm not relying on, especially for where I'm trying to get data. I'm not relying on anything that he's providing. But
I
I didn't know. Let's see, limited personal care, retail, restaurants with outdoor seating, museums, great libraries, and that's
Oh,
like
so
I
we
said,
can
man. Like
continue to do reading and art like we've been doing, bro. I've been coloring like a motherfucker. I've read more. I've read more things than I've ever read in my life. Like I'm a listener. Like that's what I'm good at. I'm very good at listening. I've never been good at reading comprehension, right? So I've probably read like front to back like 3 books in my whole life, like front to back. I've listened to books, but I've just like physically read the books. So like for me, libraries don't fucking help me right now. And who the hell goes to a library anymore? You got the goddamn internet.
I go to the library,
You would
man.
because you're a fucking dork.
Oh, that cuts deep, man. That cuts deep.
You one of them educated motherfuckers.
That's right, motherfucker. I like to read.
Yeah, no, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like realistically, like I mean, like more power to the people. Like whatever. I don't give a fuck what you
yeah.
want to do. Museums, cool. Haven't been one since like my fourth grade field trip. Awesome.
Hmm.
So like, and I like art. Like I draw. Fun facts about me. I used to sculpt. I've drawn. I've been in art class since I was like 3 years old, all the way up through high school. So I enjoy art, martial arts, physical art, drawing art, music. Like so, I get that they're very important. It's something that I deal with every day. Like like us, like the type of music we train to,
Hmm.
the type of music that sets the vibe for me working. Like so, like I get that they're very important. Um, so those are good that he's opening them, but that does not help the other 98% of the population.
Yeah, and the first thing I was when I was seeing that was trying to see if I could find any information as far as like folks I know with like some of these small small businesses that may apply to that, and most of them don't, unfortunately. But I'm trying to see. I've seen some aspects. I know I've seen this page for the reopen NJ was in regards to a lot of these gyms starting to look to open on the 1st, which I found to be interesting.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm part of that page as well, and we're looking to stay strong with our local community members. So I know it's gyms. It's not just gyms anymore. It's a lot of the salons. It's the hair salons, the nail salons.
Okay.
You're even some of the jewelers and like all those other people. Like, there's a lot of small businesses. It started out as like, the one page is like the gym owner page, but then it got into the salons because they're basically in the same boat as us, and it's and then whatever, massage, and then then the jewelers are like, yo, we want to get in on this. I saw them on TV the other day, like Corbo's Jewelry or whatever, and everybody's hurting, no matter what it is, what you do, but anybody that's in a person to person business is not doing their normal business right now. And the frustrating thing is like, I know, the members of that group have personally reached out to the governor's office. They were supposed to have a meeting with the governor, and, they presented their guidelines. Like, these are the standards, because, he didn't give us any standards. Like, we're like, hey, we can do this safely. Like, the most people we got coming through our door in a day is, maybe like a bigger small business is, 50 people, 100 people, where you have that at any given hour in a Home Depot or a Walmart.
Correct.
So why is it okay for them to do it, but not us, when we can have a more controlled environment? We're more on top of sanitation. We're only having the same group of, 50, 100 clients coming in. Now they say, oh, all those people have gone other places, so it's really 10 times the amount. What the fuck you think is going on at Walmart? What the fuck you think is going on at Home Depot? Now you got thousands of people that are in 1,000 different contexts, and now we're up to 20,000 different people have all touched the same fucking screwdriver. So it doesn't make sense. He's cherry picking what he wants to do. Now, sports are allowed. Why? Because he owns the women's sports team and they need to practice.
Yeah.
Oh, the Jets and Giants that pay all the revenue and bring revenue to the state. Oh, they need to start playing. Oh, so the NFL gets some leeway. The Major League Soccer gets some leeway, but, all things that directly have to, affect him in his motives, his agenda. So, I mean, that's what everybody's upset about. It's like, okay, like if everybody was held to a standard, it'd be okay. Or if everybody was given a direction or guidelines or everything, and he's like, oh, the data has to support it. What's the data? We don't know. We're not telling you. Or they do know, but they just won't tell you. Like, I mean, I've talked to, local, in my area, local, politicians and, city, freehold, whatever you want to call them. I'm not name dropping anybody, but they're like, dude, we're not getting any information from him, and he's the person that's supposed to give us our information to give it to the community.
Yeah.
So when you have your local congressmen and assemblymen and mayors and stuff going, nobody knows what the fuck's going on. We literally get on a call for an hour and a half, and literally everybody's like, we need to do something. My city's, dying, or my people are, economically getting crushed. Like, you need to give us some sort of thing. And, everybody's the virus, and I understand it, and it's real, and it hurts. If you get it, it hurts a certain population. Nobody's debating that. Okay, but our numbers are lower than when this started, almost significantly lower now than when we actually went into lockdown. So why the fuck are we still in lockdown?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, and I'm just, I know it's not the flu, so nobody jump down my fucking throat. Okay. But flu season's over. Corona season, we're going to have seasons of it every year. It's just now we know it's coming. We know how to deal with the waves. We can't lock down every time. We gave everybody should be prepared with their ventilators now that they are saying, we need it, but they really might not work. You need a vaccine, you need this. Well, I mean, the flu's had a vaccine for, 60 years, and it's still not right. And, on a bad flu season, 60 to 80,000 people die.
Yeah.
And we haven't shut it down, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think this is like, I mean, this is just my personal opinion, and I can have my opinion because we still are in a free country for the next, whatever, but like, but like it's one of those things. Like, there's viruses, there's illnesses that are around us at all times. We can't, like, we've been on this planet for fucking so long. The human species is resilient. I don't
Yeah.
understand how people are forgetting that. Like, we got here somehow, and there's been fucking viruses and plagues all those years. And yes, does it take out a population? Yes. Do we want to preserve life as much as we can? Obviously. Like, I don't even understand why anybody's debating about that. But the debate is about what's the right way and go the wrong way. Well, you know what? Ooh, I just stepped out of my porch. Shooting star just flew over. Either that or the aliens are coming. One or the other. We can go down that rabbit hole too. So,
Yeah, oh my god, let's go with shooting star for the sake of for today's recording. Maybe next one we'll go over the whole UFO bullshit that showed up once this all started.
Okay, first of all, not bullshit. So you take that back, Drew. You take that back. There's fucking reptilians. There's all this crazy shit. No, I'm just busted. But like we've been here for a certain amount of thing. Like, I was literally watching I forget what it was the other day, and they say, like, the human species has been around for 9,000 years, like from the Stone Age to whatever. But like, dude, they're finding cities and shit that literally they're like, it's going back 32,000 years. Like advanced civilizations, like they're finding them underwater, where it's like they had tunnels and aquifers, and they had blocks, and like like it was your typical urban city. And we thought that the furthest we went back was like throwing stones at fucking dinosaurs 9,000 years ago, and now they're like, no man, like 32,000 years ago, we could have been in the same state and something happened and boom, and now we're just restarting again. So we're pretty fucking resilient as the human species.
Yeah.
You gotta kind of stick with that and realize that,
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Yeah, well, I try to make sense, but sometimes I jump around, but it's kind of where we're at with that, So I don't know, man. We got to get a direction. We got to come together. And, the biggest thing is like, it's constantly, I don't know if you've seen it too. Have you seen a switch a little bit, like on social media, where, it was coronavirus, it still is. But now all of a sudden, like, you're starting to see like police brutality again. You're starting to see all those other narratives that were happening before this, which is like, it's terrible, because it's like, what, do you think that shit just disappeared for the 3 months that we were thinking about the virus? Like, that shit still goes on.
That's something that I think about every fucking day, man. And then something like this drops and further solidifies my fears in these types of situations. It's something that, anytime I drive my car, anytime I go for a walk, it's something that it's always in the back of my mind, no matter what.
Yeah, which is shitty, bro, that we're still in, it's 2020 and we're still fucking thinking like this. Like, I think the biggest thing is, like, we need to stop looking at it as a black and white issue. We need to look at it as a fucking humanity issue. Because like, until we can separate, and this is my view, like, till we can just say like, okay, it doesn't matter what color you are, like, that shit shouldn't be happening to fucking any human being. I don't know if you agree with me on that, but like, I just think that shouldn't happen to anybody. Like, that should, if we're all equal and we're all brothers and sisters, like I feel like we should be past race by now. Right?
Yeah, and I trust there's plenty of people that feel the same way. And yeah, it is like I said, it is shitty. Like, there's no one should be terrified anytime they get pulled over. Anytime, cop comes and knocks at their door, or anytime they go for a walk with their family. Like, that's just, you shouldn't feel that way. And like, there's plenty of cops that you and I like train with. There's plenty of cops that I know of, that I've known for years, that I know are like good, genuine people.
There's good and bad in everything, part, like I said, and it really sucks, because like, what happens though is, like, the shitty part is when you are a cop and you are bad, like, you're a fucking dangerous bad, because you have a gun, you have a taser, you have authority. So it's different than being like, oh, your ice cream man's a dick. What's he gonna do? Throw a fucking scoop at you? Like it's not like, oh, he might Yeah, but
Well, I mean,
like, oh,
hopefully.
okay, like he's not going to put his knee on your head and fucking put a gun to your head and can kill you, like, so, that's why it's,
Yeah.
and it sucks because, like you said, like we know a lot of guys. Like my first black belt, he's a lieutenant or a sergeant, and like he's been a police officer for years. He's a great guy. He has like a great heart and everything, and like the shit that they put up with too. It's like they're always on guard. Then that guy's got a chip on his fucking shoulder that day, and then he ends up killing somebody. So like it's one of those jobs where it's like
Yeah.
sometimes it's a lose lose for them, and it's a fucking lose lose for the guy that gets it on the other end.
Yeah, and it's a hard job. Like, I really don't know anything about it, but yeah, like the shit they go through on a daily basis
Yeah, well,
is
like
rough.
even like we were
So
saying, like
it's
I've talked to them about that too, and it's just like for the most part, it's not like you get to deal with the best parts of humanity in your job every day. You're usually dealing with the fucking
yeah,
scum of the not the scum, but like the shitty fucking people of the earth, or even really good people at the most shittiest part of their life. Like okay, like
yeah,
you go out to dinner with your wife, you have a couple drinks, and then you get a DWI, and you're not a fucking bad guy, but like you got a DWI. You had 4 glasses of wine, and when you should have had 2, and everybody was just hanging out, and dude, you
yeah.
see it, and that guy could be the most upstanding citizen, and you meet him at the worst part of his life or her worst part of her life, and shit gets bad.
It
Like
does.
we said, not everything has to defy you, and people can come back from that and whatnot. But like, I don't know, man. Whatever happened, I haven't looked into it too much. I've just been seeing like the clickbaits and the stuff like that. But from what I've seen, it doesn't look
Yeah.
like that was warranted at all.
No, it wasn't. And you see a lot of people, like reach out and like go back to like, oh, we have to make sure that they have proper training in a sense before so they can properly execute these types of moves and techniques. But then I think about like really, is it really like a training issue? Is it really like an issue like he wasn't trained properly in how to apply a chokehold or how to
Well,
properly
what I
neutralize
mean, just
a
from what I
suspect
saw,
or
and
whatnot?
I didn't see the whole thing, so I'm not totally educated on this subject, so I don't want to fucking sound like an idiot. But like, I saw his knee on the back of his neck, and that was the issue. Now,
Yeah,
for me, training for how long I've ever been training, like once you put your knee on somebody's spine, like that's ill intent. Like if I'm gonna
yeah,
drop my shin on your fucking cervical, like or whatever it is, like that, like on your neck, like I have bad intention, and I understand, like okay, you got to seduce somebody, and sometimes you need to meet force with force. I fucking get that, but like if the guy's cuffed, he ain't doing nothing, and you're still fucking driving his fucking face into the pavement, like come on, bro, that's excessive. And I mean, I've
yeah,
trained police officers, I've trained CERT team members, I've trained SWAT team members, like I've trained with guys that deal with like, prison riots and shit like that. And I teach them cuffing procedures and stuff like that. And like, dude, I don't know, man. That didn't look like anything kosher to me, and I think anybody,
no. No, and when you immediately look at the pics and whatnot, and you kind of see some of the commentary, yeah, there's nothing. It really didn't seem like that was completely warranted. Like I said, I've only
yeah,
been
me
seeing kind
too.
of
So
bits
I
and
don't want to
pieces.
sound like a
I haven't
jerk
really
off,
done too
but
much research. So yeah, from the little bits and pieces that you're seeing, and I know sometimes things get spun by the media, but from everything I'm seeing, like it doesn't
no,
look good.
I
It
agree
doesn't look
with
like
you
it was
100%.
necessary, especially for a
Yeah,
person to
no,
die,
yep.
especially for
Yep,
someone to die. Like
100% agreement with you. Because we were talking about what was that case like 2 weeks ago where that guy got shot by the 2 white guys, and they said that what was it down in Georgia? Yeah, so like
yeah,
we were talking about, and everybody's like, "Oh, they just pulled over and shot him," and then me and you kind of chopped it up a little bit. I'm like, "Oh," but then there was video of him going into a house that was under construction. He was trying to steal shit. The father and father was a former police officer or something. They were saying they went and chased him. Georgia's an open carry state, I'm pretty sure, and the guy got out with a shotgun, and then the
yeah,
guy attacked the guy with the shotgun, and the guy ended up getting shot. So but everybody right away was like these two, Ku Klux Klan members came over and just, shot this guy and hit him. Well, did he or did he not? Now, this second situation we're seeing is like, okay, okay, this motherfucker was straight up wrong. Like they have video of the guy like not resisting. They have video of the guy not doing anything. So it's like, like there's so many different situations, so many different variables, so many different, emotions, and just like, and the whole coronavirus thing going on, everybody's fucking amped to the gills. So you don't know what that cop's home life was like and what he came to work that day, and then he fucking takes it out on this poor motherfucker. Like, dude, I don't know. Like, it's sad that this shit's still happening today.
Yeah, it is. It's sad, it's for for some folks it's
for
scary
you, bro.
because,
Like,
I
I
said,
mean,
it
I
sits
can't
in the
even.
back of their mind.
I don't even know. Like, I don't know. I'm not in that position. I ain't the same color as you. Like, you've had to deal with that, and like, I don't know what it's like to have to, deal with like, like, listen, I was young and I did stupid shit. So like I had a mark on me. So I was always scared of the fucking cops. So like, like, so I have a little inkling of like no trust for law enforcement, whatever. But as you get older and you get wiser, you stop doing less stupid shit. You don't have those same run-ins, so then you become a productive member instead of a destructive member of society, but like, but one thing like you can't change is the shade of your skin. So like, that's stained with, that's stained with you, through your whole life, where like that's nothing you did wrong personally. It's just that's, the climate, I guess, that's been in our country, and it's just sad that that's still even an issue.
Yeah, and like I said, like, when I was younger, like, I had like my run-ins, just kind of just being a kid and just being stupid, and like, once it's shitty the fact that once you become older, you're like, oh, it's true, like those run-ins, are less frequent, and when you do have kind of those run-ins where you get kind of pulled over, they're not really as severe anymore. But then there's also the idea too, like, hey, guess what, like, I have kids. I have one child. I have another one on the way, and like, they're gonna be going through their stuff. Hopefully they'll kind of be more on the productive end of society and whatnot. But even then, when they're with me, like, I think about, God forbid I had my child with me, which she's in the car probably 90% of the time that I'm driving, and something happens. It's more so that's what kind of goes, and that's what's kind of like floating in the back of my head.
Yeah, I mean that's that's shitty to have to deal with on any level, man.
Yeah, and that's just anytime I'm out, with her, I'm picking them up for her grandmother's, or we're going for a drive or whatnot, just little stupid stuff like that. So it's something that's in the back of your head, and like, you kind of think of like why when you start to see these items pop up again, like, why is that necessary, and like, like what, it's like I said, it's an ongoing topic of discussion. It's an ongoing issue, and like, for me, I don't think it just boils down to just training. I think
Yeah,
there's a
well, like,
lot more
it's education, and
and a
it's
lot
also
more.
the individual, like I mean, not everybody's a good person, man. And some people get past it,
Sure.
and some people get past that psych exam somehow. Like it's just it's fucked up,
So
So, but what else? What else? Oh yeah, what the fuck else we were gonna talk about? Mail-in ballots, right? Like, dude.
Oh yeah, kind of digressing a little bit.
Like, oh
Yep.
my god, I just want to slam my dick in a door. I really do. Like, it's getting to the point where it's just like, how much more ridiculous shit can they throw at us? Like, okay, we're both like, all right, you're 80 years old and you can't leave your house, mail in your ballot. But like, dude, you're standing in line with everybody else at all these other fucking things. You're telling me we can't go out and vote? Now, do you vote?
Yeah.
Okay, me too. So like vote. That's why. All right, then we could have this discussion, because like if you didn't vote, I'd be like, what's the rule? You don't vote, you don't have no right to complain. Like, I vote. You vote. Like, even if people say, even if people are like, yo, your vote don't matter, why you even stupid? Like, whatever, man. Well, then I have the right to bitch and complain if I do vote. Like, so that's why I always try to make it a point. Now, have I voted in everything all the time? No, I always vote for like the bigger stuff, the presidency, the governor, stuff like that. But you know what? This is really showing like, you need to vote for those districts and those little things, because that's what starts getting the leverage behind you know, whatever it is, whoever you like or don't like, whether it's Trump you don't like, or Biden, or you don't like, or, you know, Murphy, whoever it is. But like the people underneath them, all the little district people, like who the fuck is our congressman for our district, for Morris County?
Oh, for Morris County. Fuck.
But this is what I'm saying. Like, me and
recently,
you,
too.
we both
Shit.
vote. We don't even know who the fuck. I think is it Gottheimer? Right? I think I've met him once. A little Jewish dude. I think it might be. So, but like, that's the thing. Like, we don't even know who the fuck runs our fucking county. You know, but like, everybody's like, oh, got it. And it's like, how many people? And like, that's the thing. Like, you know, like, I tried to just stay out of the politics and everything for pretty much all my life. But it's just like, we're forced into it now. Whether it's on your Facebook, whether it's on, you know, it's on the Instagram, it's on, you know, whatever. Like, we're forced into having a political view now, especially as I think it's just as you're older and you have kids, and like now we own houses, and we, you know, we're business owners, and, you know, or whatever, you know, bracket of money you're making, and, you know, now things start affecting you, like as a kid, and you're just like, fuck the man, you know, like, and then as you get older, you're like, no, don't fuck that man. He saved me money on my tax return. You know, like,
yeah, right.
So, you know, I think you get drawn into it as you're older, like, cause like, you know, when you're younger, you'd see your parents, and my parents were not political at all. Like, very, you know, not now that they're older, you know, they have their train of thought or whatever, just for being alive. But, you know, like, but I had friends that their parents always had, you know, C-SPAN or CNN, and they're talking about politics and this and that. I'm like, why the fuck would you even waste your time with it? And now it's like, I'm that old man, like, oh, did you see what Rush Limbaugh said today? Oh, did you see what fucking Imus? Did you see what Don Lemon? Like, it's like, what the fuck? Like, who am I? Who the fuck am I? You know?
Yeah, and I get when looking at like mail for some places it's been. I know Nebraska, when they utilized mail-in ballots. They actually had successful, and it was more so to the people that actually weren't able to make it out to the polls. Which in that aspect,
100%.
Like, you and I can obviously get in our car, can get out there. I think you need to have the option. You have the option whether you can show up in person, or if you physically can't make it, send you to the mail-in ballots. Now, making it mandatory for everyone, like primarily mail-in ballots, no. Because for me, especially for this, granted, it's not a new medium. You know, I need essentially data. I need to know, all right, how successful has this been? Like, what are the risks of, like, you know,
well, the risks are pretty fucking
like
high, because
really
apparently they were saying like one person had 8 different ballots sent to their house. So, you know, I mean, like, that's the thing with the climate that we're in right now. It looks shady as fuck, in my opinion. But whatever side you want to be on, whether it's Democrat, because listen, if it's mail-in, both sides can cheat. Right? Can we all agree on that and not be stubborn fucks? Like, no, it's just the Democrats. No, it's just like I was saying, like, you know, there's left wing and right wing, and once everybody really realizes that it's attached to the same bird, then we can maybe have a discussion.
Yeah.
You know, because like it's like, you know, there's certain viewpoints, and we've spoken about this, like, you know, fiscally we're conservative, and socially we're liberal. Like, you know, like we've talked about it. Like, there's certain things, like, I don't care who marries who. I don't, you know, like, that shit don't whatever. But like, there's certain things, like, you have to be responsible, and especially both of us as like parents and, you know, providers for our families and all that stuff. Like, as you get older, you're like, you get more, you just technically, like, if you start making some more money, you start, you know, having more responsibilities and having more tax implications and having more of this and having more of that, you end up becoming conservative. You know, like with your fiscal, you know, sense. You know, it doesn't mean like liberally, like you have to be like, you know, whatever, you know. So like, it's like, and that's the thing, like we've said before, like, I don't have to die on my sword for a certain issue. Like, if you bring me some good shit, like, you know, like it's like, you know, I know a lot of people like that. Like, you know, whether it's, you know, you're you're conservative, but you're pro-choice, and it's like, how can you be conservative but you can believe in abortion, or you're a liberal that's pro-life, like, like, I just don't think, like, there's so many different issues, and it's so complex, like, you can't put everybody in just one box. We need we need more than a third choice. We need a fourth choice. But, like, at the end of the day, who the fuck would want Murphy's job right now? Nobody that would be good at it would want to deal with this bullshit. Same thing as a president. Like, I say it all the time. Like, first of all, not one person can do that job. There's too much shit going on in the world. Like, you should have, like, the president of, like, the Department of Justice. You should have a president of, like, the Department of this. Like, each department should have its own president, because there's just too many things to fucking think about. But then there'd be more bureaucratic bullshit, because nobody could compete, and everybody would want to see whose dick's bigger. So, like, it's just one of those things. Like, our forefathers have set up it's actually a really intelligent system, because they've thought about all these things. And that's why everybody keeps saying, like, just because there's a pandemic doesn't mean the Constitution. Like, our forefathers thought about these ways that people can abuse their power and do this, because they lived under it. They didn't want to live under it, and they made their own government. Now, is it perfect? Yeah. No, nothing's perfect. We don't live in a perfect world. But, it's the closest thing to, overall freedom that any country's ever had. And we got to preserve that, I feel like. And, like, right now, everybody's getting a little taste of what it's like to not have all that.
Yeah. And, when I kind of saw the initial proposals, especially, like, going back to, like, mail-in ballots, like I said, I think the idea specifically for folks who can't make it out to those polls initially, like some type of ailment, whatever, old age, I think it's a good idea. Like I said, when it goes back to just making that your primary avenue to vote, absolutely not. I don't think it's necessary. Like, especially if you can go to a Home Depot, you can go anywhere else.
And that's what it just looks shady as fuck. I don't care what side you're on; it just looks shady as fuck. Like, you're gonna tell me that this is still all about the coronavirus? Like, anybody, with half a brain can see that it runs way deeper than that. Especially with the data that's been coming out and everything else showing, like, okay, like, it's pretty much always survivable except for a certain select few. And is it terrible? And people who get it, like, I've had friends, like I said, I have family members who have passed from it. So, we're not, insensitive to the facts of life, but, like we said, the facts of life are, we're all going to eventually die from something, whether it's that, cancer, something's going to get every single one of us. And if you don't think that, then you're a fucking idiot. I'll say it, and I'll stand by it, and I'll stand on my podium and fucking say it, because we're all gonna die, bro. Like, it's just, it is what it is, and it might sound insensitive, but, like, if you don't think you are, idiot. So, like, yes, we want to prevent it. Yes, every single one of us wants to get the most trips around the sun, like, I get that, but, like, we're all gonna eventually die of something. So we can't, like, if you're living in fear, like, why are you? That's not living. It's not living. That's existing. And I don't want to just exist. I want to live. Yeah.
You're starting to see that a lot more now. And as these new items are kind of popping up, like, for one, like mail-in, like, voting, I'm really happy to see, like, folks kind of really question it and really try to pull up the facts, and, like, are you like are you serious? Like, do we really need this? Like, can we get some lawyers involved here and see, like, if this is something that's
who the fuck made him King fucking Murphy and like, oh, we're gonna just do this? And it's like, no, man, we're not gonna just do this. Can't we, like, have a vote on this? And, like, I understand we have representatives and everything else, but, like, we got to start bringing it back to the people, man. Because at the end of the day, everybody goes, oh, they're the governors. It's out of our hands. It's power. Like, no, motherfuckers. They work for us. Yes, we gave him that power, but at the end of the day, we have power in numbers. And there's, like, and you can even see, like, he started to rein back certain stuff, like, oh, graduation, oh, now this is available. Yeah, what? After your next state of emergency for another 30 days? Like, dude, it was supposed to be 14 days flatten the curve. Okay, well, we've flattened the curve. We went down the hill, and now we're flatter than we were before we started, and it's still not good enough? Come on, bro. So, like
Yeah.
everybody, like we all did our due diligence in the beginning and everybody wrote it with wave, like, okay, 14 days. Oh, now we're going to go on 30. Okay. 30. Okay. Now we're going to go on 45. What? Now we're on 60. What? Now we're on 75. What?
Yeah.
Now we're on 90.
Yeah.
Now, the school might be alternating days in September. Half a fucking year you want us to just turn off life? But not once has he said, okay, mortgage companies, do not bill anybody in New Jersey. Okay, tax payments, nobody can come in. Oh, you're not getting your unemployment for fucking 7 weeks? And when you do, it's $200. Oh, okay. Like this is the thing. You can't. I posted a thing today that I think it was the judge of Illinois. They had the court case with him, and he did a statement before he read his verdict, and he said whatever the Illinois governor's lockdown was unconstitutional, and his biggest thing was he went into this whole thing, and if you get a chance, check it out. I posted it on my social media, and maybe we'll post it on the page. But it was basically saying that the people are not being governed right now; they're being ruled. And that's the difference. Like we're a free country. We should be governed, not ruled. And that was like his main point. And he's like, these governors are acting like kings, and they're trying to rule the subjects, and they forget that the subjects, us, put them there, and we're being governed for the people. So I thought that was a really interesting point and a good choice of words of letting people know like there is a difference, motherfuckers. There is a difference. And I think we've just gotten so used to being like the peons of the bunch that we forget how much power we really do have if we get together. So, yeah, YouTube, whoever's listening, power to the people, fuckers.
That's it, man.
So,
That's
I guess with that being said, what's it called? Check out Roll Junkie. They had a great Memorial Day sale, dude. If you missed the Memorial Day sale, you guys missed out. But do not worry. 2 Live Fools promo code will still get you 15% off your entire order. And they have their new Patriot shirt out. So if you're a Patriot and you're red, white, and blue in it and you love jiu-jitsu, great company, great logo, great design, great quality. You guys will definitely dig it. What else?
Yeah. Even if you don't trade jiu-jitsu, man, get a t-shirt. Why the hell not, man?
They really are.
Shirts out there.
Even if I didn't trade jiu-jitsu and I knew about them, I would wear them, man. Like it's definitely cool. Yeah. And then what else we got coming up? We got something fun coming up this weekend, I think, right?
Yeah. So this weekend we will actually be interviewing our good buddy of ours, Frank Rosenthal. He is a multi-time Rise Invitational champion. Danaher Death Squad black belt. This guy's a beast. If you guys want to check him out on like YouTube, he's got plenty of highlight reels.
He's Kasai,
great instructor.
Right, he's been in Kasai. He won the
Kasai a number of times.
Invitational. So I've known Frankie for years. You've known Frankie for years, and he's going to be competing in what is it, Drew?
It's a new format, the EBI back attack shootout. So we'll be talking about that on the podcast, getting some details as well as like preparation and kind of picking his brain on like his training, how he's kind of adapted to the new format of training, and then we'll also be talking about some '90s hip hop for you guys out there, kind of talking about some of those nice jiu-jitsu environments utilizing '90s hip hop music and whatnot, and then also kind of doing like a quick history lesson as well on some of that. So we'll be going over a lot of good stuff. Probably get some good training in as well. So
he's gonna break my legs. Whatever.
Yeah, he's probably gonna choke me out a couple times.
I'll bite him. I don't care. I'll bite him.
We're doing it for the fans.
Yeah, we're taking the ass kicking for the fans to bring you some of the dopest jiu-jitsu around. And yeah, man, we're looking forward to it, and it's going to be fun. Frankie's a great guy, and I've known him for years, and I'm sure it will be a riot. And he does listen to some good music as well for training, so we dig it.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
All right, brother.
Absolutely.
Well, that being said, episode 6 in the books, and we look forward to you guys listening. Make sure we set up a Facebook page, check it out, and hit us up on Instagram and Twitter.
All right, folks,
brother. Be good.
Take it easy.
Out.
Jiu-jitsu, when I hit you, then I split you.